And we're back. Julian Marley is on a world tour for his latest album, Awake. He was in town for the Reggae World Music Awards and took a moment to sit down with ZYNC TV. Here's part one of our chat with Julian. So let's rewind for a second. Contrary to what many people may assume, Julian, you are not from Jamaica, you are from England. How has that upbringing influenced your musical inclinations?
I have to really think about it because it's embedded, so embedded that you have to really dissect it. You know what I mean? For me, just listening to a lot of different kind of music, you know. In England, you know, you probably get to listen to, like, even in reggae, you get to listen to Steel Pulse in those days when we were youth. You know, in Jamaica, you listen to Steel Pulse, but you have so much arts going on. So in England, you get to listen to a lot of different music, you know, different culture.
Definitely. And how old were you when you picked up your first instrument?
Probably about 5 or so.
And which instrument was that?
Drums, guitar, and piano.
No, you're currently on, so, oh, you picked up all three of them at the same time?
Yeah.
Nice. Now, you're currently on tour promoting your album, Awake. And funny enough, Awake is actually this is the album cover here. Why don't you hold that? It's very similar to your father Bob Marley's album for The Uprising, which is also the name of your band, but we'll get back to that in a second. What was so inspirational about Awake and The Uprising? Did you feel like you left off where The Uprising left off in terms of message?
We don't really leave off. It's not a left off thing, it's a keep on going.
Continuation.
All right, see, it's the same concept, really. So Awake is, you know, is what it is, you know what I mean? And Uprising is, as you know, originally what it is, you know? Yes.
Nice. So back to what I was saying before, your band is called The Uprising. What was so inspirational about that name? Why not name the band Exodus or Confrontation?
No, because Uprising is like making a statement, you know, uprising, music. So turn up the music and let's get the vibes going. So for me, it was more of a, you know, yeah, the music that we bring is uplifting. So it's uprising, you know.
Nice.
Uprising of the people, you know, yeah.
Like an upliftment, as you said.
Yeah, and with positive, you know.
Nice. So let's fast forward again. You were in the Lions Den with your brothers, Damien and Steven, working on the album Awake. What's the process like?
Well, natural. The process for this one was really, you know, after you have few songs, you know, you might not have to have the whole album, but you have a few songs, you know, that we work out. Then we start to rehearse them, you know. Instead of we just going one time and just lick one rhythm and that's done. We really go, play for a little while, bridge, work out different stuff. So we rehearse it for at least, before we just really record, we rehearse this for about a month. You know, before we start recording some of the songs, you know, just to capture you know,
the essence of it.
That's what we need, you know, yeah. So we're just working together like that, you know, then as the project gets, you know, together, you know, you got Steve and you got Junior Gang that partaked on the album, you know. We've got 2 tracks. You know, you have Little Too Late with Steven, you know, Marley, and you have Violence in the Streets with Junior Gang, so, you know.
So it was more of a vibe, it wasn't any formula that you used?
Always vibes, it's always vibe. Formula day is done, it's embedded now. It's like, music, this is what the sound that I have, you know, kind of thing, you know.
And being that you work so closely with them, what is some advice or what are some of the things that you learned from them musically?
Well, there's a lot of advice. I mean, a whole heap of things. First of all, you know, Ziggy and Steve, you know, bigger brothers was in the music before us. So, you know, when we was growing up, after your father, the next set of man them is your brother them, which are on the road touring. So you get to learn stage, you get to learn half of the stage, you know, you get to learn everything in the studios, you know. And it's a lot of information, you can't learn it over one night. You have to be there, get couple, you know, sleepless nights, couple long sleeping days in the music business. You know?
It's all about the grind and the hustle.
Yeah, I mean, well, especially, you know, it depends on what kind of grind or what kind of hustle. One thing is, you know, spread righteousness across the world. So if that means I can't sleep, then I will not sleep. For me, if it means for money, then I'm going to sleep all day because you work out your body for the money and you end up somewhere else and the money is still there, you know what I mean? So you have to have something behind it, you know? Yeah.
That's real talk right there. So speaking of, you know, your brothers being a strong support system for you, for your father's 60th birthday, you and your siblings actually went to Ethiopia for a celebration of your father's birthday. Describe that experience. How emotional was that for you?
Well, first of all, it was a very spiritual boosting, you know. The emotions, you know, it wasn't even emotions, it's more like the joy and a feeling of, you know, godliness. Because Ethiopia is a very special, sacred place, you know. You know what I mean? And to be in Ethiopia around that time, and the whole concept is Africa Unite, that is the best place to really start it, you know. So it was a very powerful, moving feelings, you know. Yeah.
And speaking of Africa Unite, how strong or how much closer did it bring you and your siblings after that experience?
Well, that's being the first, you see, when I went to Ethiopia, that was the first time ever, you know, landing in Africa, which is the original land, creation of all civilization, you know what I mean? From going to Ethiopia, I went after that like 5 times in a row. I mean, like, after Ethiopia, it was like the gate open. Ghana, Guinea, South Africa, you know, which are them places there, you know, so, you know, what you know that is Africa is so great. And the reason why it's so great is because it's waiting for I and many ones that are watching tonight or today, you know, to build. Everything is built already. You can't design your house no better, no way, you know, again. If you go to Africa, you can design in a different style and fashion, you know. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Africa waits its creators still. And the man must say that for at least 40 years, you know.